going to be showing you how to create different types of bandages on a horse. Some of the different bandages that I'm going to be showing you are how to do a standing wrap, a wound bandage, a stack wrap, a hoof wrap, and then I'm also going to demonstrate how to do a polo wrap, even though that one is not technically a bandage. The purpose of a polo wrap is to provide protection for the leg, typically while riding. You don't want to use this in a wet or burry environment because it will just soak up the water and it will irritate the leg and the burrs will get stuck to it and also irritate the leg. So this is typically used for arena work. A standing wrap is typically used when there is swelling in the leg that we want to decrease, or after a horse has been exercised and you expect them to stock up. A wound bandage is, as is described, it is used with a wound that is somewhere on the lower leg and it needs to be wrapped. You'll be using different ointments and you'll discuss with your vet what types of ointments you're going to use, how long you're going to be bandaging, so you'll figure that out, but I'll just be showing you the basic bandage. I'm also going to be showing you how to do a stack wrap. A stack wrap is basically an extended standing wrap, typically used on the front leg, though you can modify it with a hawk bandage to be used on the back leg. This is used when there is swelling or a wound that is high up above the knee, and you have to use a standing wrap as an anchor bandage first, and then you'll finish making a stack wrap. I'm also going to be showing you how to put on a hoof wrap. This is used when the horse has a suspected abscess or has perhaps lost a shoe and needs some added protection or cushion on his foot. As I go along, I will be showing you what supplies I need, and I will also be describing how I am performing each step. Another important thing to remember is safety. While you're performing this, you're going to be down low next to the horse's legs, and this can be a dangerous position to be in. An important thing to know is that you should never be on both knees at once, such that you cannot get up. You can put one knee down as long as the other one is up and you're able to quickly push away or get away from the horse. Or you can crouch on both feet, on both legs, and just be squatting the entire time. Also, if you are using a helper, the helper should probably be on the same side as you so that if the horse does anything, they can pull him away from your body. They can also help you by performing a leg lift if needed so that the horse is being standing still. And you also just want to always be aware of how your horse is moving.
To begin your polo wrap, you're going to take the tail end of your polo, put it on the inside of the horse's leg, and you're going to begin wrapping from the inside to the outside, front to back. You're going to be using even layers that overlap as you work down the leg. When you get down to the fetlock, you're going to take the polo and bring it down and cup itself around the fetlock. In the front, you will then be creating a V as you bring the polo wrap back up. As you wrap the polo up, you are once again going to be using even interlapping layers. Once you reach the top, you are going to unhook the Velcro and reattach it to itself. The tags should always be pointing towards the back, and if you need to, you can use masking tape. Once again, you should have the V in the front. To remove it, simply push it hand to hand, unwrapping as you go. Do not try to roll it as you go. To re-roll a polo wrap, you're going to have the wrap completely undone. Then you're going to take the Velcro tab and attach it back onto itself. From there, you will begin rolling, applying tension and trying to keep the ends even. If you need to, you can tie the end of the polo wrap to a stall bar or a doorknob in order to apply proper tension. As you notice, I am wiping off, and I will sometimes shake off any debris such as sawdust or hair that might be on the polo wrap. You continue rolling, and when you're done rolling, you can leave it as is, or you can tuck the ends of it back onto itself. However, that will stretch out the wrap. To apply a standing wrap, the supplies you'll need is a quilt, a track bandage, and a closure such as masking tape. First, we are going to start with the quilt. We're going to start on the inside of the leg, wrap it from the inside to the outside, front to back. We want a nice even tension on this so that it will not slide around. And you want to smooth out any wrinkles that may occur. Next, we're going to take our track bandage and continue on the inside to outside, front to back. You're going to keep an even tension on this as well. You don't want to be pulling it tight, but you want it to be snug so that the wrap cannot slide up or down or move around. You're going to be moving it down in even overlapping layers. And when you get to the bottom, you're going to leave about a ½ inch of the quilt showing before you start working your way back up to the top with those even overlapping layers. With my other hand, I am checking after I have wrapped to make sure that the layers are smooth and there are no wrinkles. Once you got to the top and there is a ½ inch of quilt still showing, you can then close the bandage. For this, I am using masking tape. And you're going to simply attach it and bring it around. In this, I'm showing you how to use 3 bands of masking tape. As long as you do not pull the tape tight, you will not be cutting off circulation. However, most people prefer that you close a standing wrap using a spiral of masking tape. Check to make sure that the bandage is tight and it is not too loose, checking the top and bottom for tension. That is how you apply a standing wrap. For a wound wrap, you're going to require an ointment, which you will decide with your vet. I'm using chlorhexidine. You'll need a Talfa pad, non-stick gauze pad, and a roll stretch gauze cotton. You also need the supplies for standing wraps. You want to make sure your quilt is the proper length. You have a track bandage. You have a fastener such as masking tape. And I'm also going to be showing you how to use elasticon, which you will need scissors for. To begin, you want to have all of your supplies ready and out of the packaging so that you can use them when it is needed. To put on the ointment, I like to use the gauze pad to get the ointment out of the jar. That way you're not contaminating the rest of the ointment inside the jar by using your fingers. So simply unwrap it, dip your gauze pad in, and get as much ointment as you need. Once there's ointment on the pad, you can stick it on the wound. And then you are going to use your gauze cotton and you're going to wrap it around. You don't want to make this tight, but you want to make it snug enough such that it will stay on the leg. And the cotton will stick to itself. So once you cut it, you do not have to hold it there. Now that that is attached, next we are going to get our quilt track bandage ready. To begin, we are going to place it on the inside of the leg, and we're going to be wrapping the quilt inside to outside, front to back, maintaining a consistent pressure. We want to make sure there are no wrinkles and that the quilt is laying smoothly against the leg. Next, I'm going to put on the track bandage, and I'm going to tuck the tail end of the bandage underneath the quilt. You do not need to do this, but for some it is easier. Just like the standing wrap, we are going to be wrapping inside to outside, and we are not going to be pulling the bandage tight, but we are going to make it snug so that the bandage will not be able to move. And we are going to be using even overlapping layers. With my other hand, I'm going to be checking and feeling to make sure that there are not wrinkles in the bandage. As you can see, I have about a ½ inch of the quilt showing at the bottom, and I began working my way up. Once I get to the top, I'm once again going to leave a ½ inch of the quilt showing before I fasten it. This time I will be showing you how to spiral the masking tape down around the leg. Once you have it fastened, you want to check to make sure that the pressure is even, that it is not loose. And now I'm going to show you how to put Elasticon on. Elasticon is an adhesive, stretchy material. And when we lay this on the horse's leg, we are not going to apply it with any tension. Here I'm simply measuring to see how long I need it to be, and I'm going to cut it to my desired length. Elasticon can be used at the top or the bottom of a wound bandage, and this will simply keep out any dirt or debris that might decide to work its way down into the bandage and get into the wound. So you're simply going to lay it over the leg and then press down the adhesive. And there is a wound bandage. To apply stack wrap, you are first going to want to come down and make sure that your quilts are going to be the proper length. You'll need enough for the anchor phase and enough for the top phase of the stack wrap. The top phase may be longer or shorter depending upon if you're using it for a wound or swelling. You will also need a regular track bandage for the anchor phase, and then one extra long track bandage or 2 regular length track bandages, fastener, elasticon, and scissors. To start out with, we are going to put on the anchor phase of the bandage. This is essentially a standing wrap. However, it comes down lower on the fetlock and cups the fetlock to lock the entire bandage in place. As you can see, I started the inside to outside, front to back, making sure the layers are smooth. And now I'm going to apply my track bandage with the same direction. Once again, I will be applying even pressure, making sure there are no wrinkles in the track bandage, and that I am applying even layers as I go down the leg. As I get down to the bottom of the quilt, I'm going to come down with the track bandage and cup the fetlock. And then I'm going to come back up and begin wrapping back up the quilt. At both the top and bottom, I will leave a little bit of the quilt showing. The top will have more quilt showing because that is where the second quilt will rest, and we want a shelf for that to lay on. I will now apply my fastener, and I'll be using masking tape for this. And that is the anchor face. You want to check the tightness, you want to check your length, and make sure it is cupping the fetlock so that it will be locked in place. Now that we have our anchor face, we are going to continue with the stack wrap. We're going to wrap the top quilt, resting it on the anchor face. The forearm is oftentimes hard to get an even wrap because it is not as cylindrical as the lower leg, so just do your best to keep it as wrinkle-free as possible and to have an even tension. Now that the quilt is in place, we will be using an extra long track bandage. Once we begin, I will begin wrapping down the leg using even overlapping layers, and I'm not pulling too tight on the bandage. As we come over the junction between the two quilts, we are going to be trying to make sure that that lies smoothly and it's not bumpy such that it will irritate the horse. Depending on the length of your track bandage, you may have to wrap down further or higher. If you are using two regular length track bandages here, you will wrap from mid forearm all the way down as far as the track bandage will go, usually about mid cannon, and you will end the bandage there. And then you will begin the track bandage in the same place that you left off the other track bandage, this time wrapping back up. Now that I have reached the mid cannon, I'm going to begin wrapping back up towards the leg. As you can see, I'm still checking to make sure that all of the layers are smooth and there are no wrinkles in the track bandage. As I begin to end the bandage, towards the top, it is important to make sure that the quilt is laying smooth. As I mentioned before, it is hard to keep the quilt smooth, so you just want to be double checking that as you finish the track bandage. Once I'm done wrapping, I will fasten it with masking tape. It is important to have your tape ready, otherwise you may accidentally let go of the track bandage and have to start over with the entire stack wrap. Now that the track bandage is fastened, we are going to finish off the stack wrap with elasticon on the top and the bottom of the wrap. This will make sure that the entire bandage stays in place. Here I'm just checking to make sure that my length will be sufficient. As I mentioned before, in the wound wrap, you want to make sure you are not applying elasticon with any pressure or tension. You're simply going to be laying it down on the leg. Gently press it down to make sure that it is adhering to both the skin and the bandage. Here's the second piece of elasticon that we will fasten around the bottom of the bandage. This will also help keep debris out as well as fasten the bandage securely and allow it to not slip. Check tightness and you're done. Before you begin applying your hoof wrap, you're first going to need to make the duct tape bandage. Take a roll of duct tape, make it about 6-8 inches long, and find a surface that you can apply it to. This can be your leg, it can be a wall, but you're going to take another piece and overlap it about halfway with the last one as you begin to form a square. As you work your way down, you're going to be making it bigger. Once you've gotten it to the size that you want the bandage to be, you're then going to change the direction of the tape as you are laying it down, and you're going to cross hatch it, once again overlapping the layers. This will create a thicker and more durable bandage, and if you feel it is extremely necessary, you can even add a third layer to your bandage. In this video, I also put an X on the middle of the bandage. This gives it a little bit more durability and it allows me to better place the bandage on the hoof. For the hoof bandage, you are going to need a diaper, vet wrap, your hoof bandage, more duct tape, and a hoof pick to clean out the foot beforehand. So you clean out your foot, and this is the time to apply any ointment such as ectomol or any other drawing ointment that you might desire. You'll put the diaper on the foot, and then you can fasten it with the little tabs to hold it in place. You can change the size of your diaper by buying a bigger or smaller sizes. Just find what fits your horse best. You're now going to take your vet wrap and you're going to begin wrapping it around the hoof. When you're working on the hoof, you can stretch the vet wrap as tight as you want. However, you need to be careful if you bring it up near the coronary band that you are not stretching it tightly, as that can cut circulation and cause more damage. The vet wrap is simply securing the diaper. You don't need to use a whole roll. Once the vet wrap is in place, you can then place your duct tape bandage. Place it in the middle of the foot, lay it down, smooth down the sides. And once that is on, you can set the horse's foot down. I then like to take another piece of duct tape that I can wrap around the horse's foot. This simply secures the sides down and removes any of the flaps that might be caused by putting the duct tape bandage on. Once you're done with that, you can be finished. However, if you want it to look pretty, you can take a pair of scissors and you can cut down on the diaper and trim away the excess that is peeking out the top. Additionally, if you did happen to accidentally go above the coronary band with the vet wrap, you can simply cut into the vet wrap and make sure that there is not pressure on the coronary band. And with that, you are done.
An important aspect to remember when bandaging is that you must bandage properly, or else there can be consequences. A bandage that is too loose will do no good. It won't help with any swelling. The bandage will just slip around, and it is effectively useless. Plus, it can come undone and get caught on the leg, and then you have another issue that you're having to treat. If the bandage is too tight or has uneven pressure, you can cord your horse. This will result in a huge bump or swelling because the area below was restricted and blood could not return back from where it came. You can also get a bandage bow. It looks like a bowed tendon basically, and once that happens, you're going to have to treat that. Another issue that you could come across is if you are using like a standing bandage with an ointment or using it as a sweat, you could end up scalding or burning the leg because that agent has been on the leg for too long and it has now irritated the leg, and you're going to have to let that heal, and oftentimes that means no longer wrapping the leg so that it can get air to dry. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you learned something from it.